Hello, hello, and welcome to the Color Whisperer Show. We're going to do a little bit of Sesame Street today. Today's episode, that's right. Today's episode is brought to you by the color blue and maybe the color green because it's kind of hard to talk about blue without talking about green. So I've got my green on, but we're going to start talking about blue today because there's a lot of fascinating things about blue. And I just learned something new yesterday, and so I wanted to share it with you. So when we think of the South, one of the big colors we think about is blue. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So one of the reasons is that the South gets pretty hot and humid, and so blue helps you feel cooler. I saw something very interesting yesterday too. It was people learning how to be psychic. And it was fascinating to me because they were doing it with colors. And so they had colored cards out, like 5 or 6 different colors, and the people would put their hands over them to feel the vibration of the color. Okay. Maybe we have some tech ghosts going on. That was weird. Anyway, so the thing is that they were marketing it as how to learn how to be psychic, but it's really not because each color has its own vibration. If you hold a red card and you hold a blue card, you will be able to feel the difference. The red hand will actually get warmer and your blue hand's going to get cooler. So it does help you pick up on subtler vibrations because we're so used to depending on other senses in a different way. Depending on our eyes, oh, that's blue, that's green, that's yellow, that's orange, right? But by using our sense of feel to get that. So if you're blind, you have this. You know. Because that's the sense that you have to heighten in order to exist in the world because you don't have your eyes. And so if you can tune into these deeper levels of your senses, that's all. Like everybody has the ability to be psychic. We're just not used to those senses as much. Have you ever been thinking about somebody and then they call? Guess what? You connected with them. That's telepathy. They called you. It worked. It worked. You ever had a vision or deja vu moment? Yeah, because this is how we tick. One thing that I get a lot is I'm getting ready to leave the house. Oh, you need to. Oh, sorry. You need to bring XYZ. Doesn't matter what XYZ is. And then my head kicks in and goes, what do you need that for? Here. It's very rare I don't have a sweater in the car, but let's pretend it's a sweater. You need to bring a sweater today. I'm like, it's going to be 102 out. What do I need a sweater for? So then I go into a restaurant or something, and damn, I wish I had that sweater. And I wasn't planning on going in the restaurant, but something in me knew, hey, it was going to happen. And so these are all things that we're just not used to leaning into our intuition. But it's so powerful if we just give it a chance. So, anyway, back to blue. So, when you think about the South, we think about blue. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Again, there's a lot of blue in the South because it is a very hot, humid, sticky environment, right? And in the South, one of their traditions is on a porch. On the ceiling of the porch, they'll have a color called haint blue. HAINT. Haint blue. And what that is actually a color that keeps ghosts away. So somewhere in vernacular, in slang, the haint has something to do with like a haunting. It's like a slang version of that word, and it has to do with ghosts. And so by painting the underside of your porch roof paint blue, it does a couple things. Keeps away the ghosts, but the whole porch thing is a way of life in the South, in a way that I don't see it other places. And by painting that place that you're spending a lot of time in, that paint blue, which is very light blue, it's not powder blue, more like a sky blue, like a light sky blue, not like a dark sky blue. And it creates a more cooling environment on that porch. So while you're sitting there, you feel cooler. It also creates a calming effect because the color blue helps you forget the passage of time, and it helps calm down the nerves. And so, what are you doing when you're sitting on the porch, right? You're relaxing. You want to forget the passage of time. You want to forget the whole day. You're out there, and it's time for you to just take a deep breath. And I'm going to just stop my world for a minute. And by having color there that assists you in doing that, it's going to help in many ways. So we can use color to create this calm, this healing in our homes. And healing, speaking of healing, so this is what I found out yesterday, which I thought was so cool. And it made so much sense. I just didn't know people did it. So cobalt blue. In fact, cobalt blue is a very popular color in the South. And one of the reasons is its healing properties. So a lot of people would put cobalt blue in front of a window. So as the sun came through that cobalt blue, it expanded the blue's power. So blue has a natural ability to heal, particularly physically healing. It calms the body down. It decreases stress, and in doing so, the body's able to heal. And so they would put cobalt blue in a window. Maybe they'd put a cobalt cup there. And the sun would come through that, heat those rays up, and spread them out throughout the entire room. And that they would sit in those in a similar way that we would use color therapy today. But they would sit in there for healing properties and allow this blue light on them. And they knew the healing power of this. We've forgotten this. I don't know why. There's so much power in this. We've forgotten it. But they knew how to take advantage of the natural healing properties of what was around them. I have a cousin who had a collection of cobalt blue, and she did put a lot of it in her window. And she had it in her kitchen, and that sun came through the cobalt blue, and it was so pretty. It sparkled because cobalt's very dark, but there's something that happens to it when it gets lit up, and it just becomes this stunning shade, and it's beautiful. And so by having that there, she's pretty healthy. She always had cobalt blue in her kitchen window. That was a lifetime thing, at least my lifetime. I don't know what she did when she was younger. She's several years older than me. But at least for a good chunk of her life, she had cobalt blue in her window. And she's pretty healthy. She's 85 years old. she's still going. She doesn't have any major health issues, and she's still going. She's still spry as somebody who's in her 60s or 70s. And she says it's tough feeling this good in my 80s because I don't have friends that feel as good in their 80s. So that's the bad part of taking care of yourself, I guess. Like everybody else is talking about aches and pains and groaning and this and oh, I gotta go to the doctor 6 times a week and you're just like, I want to go have fun. I feel good. Let's go have fun. So then you got to have younger friends. I have a friend who is like that. She's 83 and she's like, I want to go have fun. She doesn't want to hang around old people because she doesn't want to be old. Because it's so much of it's up here. So much of it is up here and how we see the world. Do you say I can or do you say I can't? Old people say I can't. Young people say I can. I watched my mother-in-law and my mother go through that. My mother-in-law at 55, she got diabetes, and all of a sudden was I can't. Her whole world fell apart. The last 15 years of her life were terrible. She didn't enjoy them. It just was. It's just watching the world go by, waiting for her turn to die. My mother, she never said I can't, and she had lots of reasons to say I can't. She had polio when she was young. She never said I can't. She just did, and she did until the day she died. Enjoyed as much of it as she could. So, the cobalt blue. Now, here's something else. You might have seen the study on, and I can't remember this guy's name right now, but you've also seen the water study where they take water and they talk to it and they say good things and say things like love and the water particles, you look at them under a microscope and they look beautiful. They look like snowflakes. You put the same water and you put it near rap music or heavy metal music, or you scream at it and it doesn't do that. It gets all distorted and angry looking. And we're water. So there's a big chunk of us that's water. So it's all about vibration, right? So if what we say to our water, or what our water hears, but guess what is also the vibration of what we put in it. There's a drink out there called Death Water or something like that. Like, why would you want to drink water? It's marked. It's in this can with this word death on it. And it's like, why would you want to drink that? It doesn't make any sense because that energy is in it. And you don't need that in your body. Ew. And I don't, when I saw that out there, I was like, I don't get this. I don't get this at all. They didn't ask me to be their marketing person. I definitely wasn't part of the branding committee, and who knows what's really going on there. I tell you, for you to even think that that's a good name, something weird, isn't there? Why would water be bad for you? Why do you want to market it as something bad for you? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. So, by putting the water in the cobalt blue glasses, I remember when I was a kid, that was huge. Everybody had cobalt blue glasses. We had some really pretty cobalt blue glasses. They were irradiated and they had pinks and greens and they were so pretty. They came from like Avon or something like that. And they were beautiful. We had a few cups and we had a few bowls. I was really bummed when they were no more. I loved drinking from them. So there I was, a kid. I wanted to drink from the cobalt blue glasses and I didn't even know why. But the cobalt blue, by putting the water or whatever you're drinking in the cobalt blue, it takes on the healing properties of the cobalt blue. And so you're ingesting that. And that was another trick that these people it was an old tradition in the South, was using these cobalt blue glasses as a way of healing. And I just thought, I saw this article and I thought, this is so cool. It makes perfect sense. And I think, I'm 56, and the world's changed a lot since I was a kid. In fact, I was watching some episodes of NCIS Origins, and I was like, it takes place in the 80s, a really long time ago. and and I was like, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. I remember sending faxes. Kids don't even today, they don't even know what a fax is. They see a word, they have no idea what a floppy disk is. They have no idea, what it's like to live without a smartphone, and we lived all this, and it was fine, right? There was phone booths all over the place. Now there's no phone booths anymore. Not even in England, those iconic telephone booths, the Doctor Who booths, and they don't have them anymore, which is very sad. Some of them have been repurposed and turned into those libraries that you can leave a book, take a book, which I think is pretty cool. But there's just like, I don't know. And I'm watching this and it feels so nostalgic. I'm like, was it really that long ago? Our world has changed so much. And to go back and see, I love going through old houses and seeing what did they do different. And these are the kinds of things that we don't always get to see. You find them in books. I love to read. I love to read because the I don't like doing research, but the people who write the books, they got to do all the research, and they do this deep stuff, not just on the history, like who was president and what happened here and what happened there in the news stuff, but on the daily life stuff. And of course, I find that fascinating, and it makes total sense that why wouldn't you use something that has natural healing properties to your advantage? Why not? It makes perfect sense. And yet, we live in a world now that's dominated by medicine. And, well, if you get sick, you take a pill. Well, there wasn't a pill to take when they were doing this. There wasn't, medicine as we know it really didn't exist until after World War II. During COVID, I went back and I watched The Waltons because, okay, we know how this one ends, right? And it's calm. I mean, they dealt with some big issues too, but it was just kind of calming and like, okay, I can do this. And it was really interesting as the series progressed. In the beginning, Grandma had a poultice. Mom got polio. Grandma had a poultice. Grandma had stuff to help, and Grandma's stuff worked. And there was a healer lady in the mountains, a little higher up than where they were, and she had all kinds of herbs and tonics and using natural medicine. And they didn't think anything about going, well, we got to go see her. Nanny, I forget what her name was, but she can fix this. There's another episode where there was what we would today call a healer, but somebody who dealt with herbs and stuff like that. And Elizabeth, the youngest, was like seeing ghosts and stuff. And this lady was like, I can fix this. And she did. And they didn't think it was weird. They're just like, hey, these people know stuff we don't. Grandma had all of her poultices and her tonics. And they all came from outdoors. They came from stuff that God made. And it was normal. But as World War II came in, then it started being about the doctors. Oh, we don't trust these old wives' tales anymore. We gotta have the doctor. We gotta have medicine. And it didn't happen overnight. It was gradual. And you know, there's some good things about medicine, but we've lost a lot too because we just go take a pill. There's things that you can't make money off of drink water out of a cobalt blue glass. I suppose you could sell the glasses, but how many glasses can you sell? How many prescriptions versus how many glasses you sell a glass. That's fine. Maybe you sell 5 glasses, 6 glasses. But then those glasses are going to last for years. You could sell a lot more prescriptions. So anyway, by utilizing what nature has for us and utilizing the natural properties of things, we have the power to do so much. Blue is an incredibly healing color. That's why when you go into hospital, you'll see they use it. They use it. What color is the gown they usually put on you? Blue. When they pull the curtains around, they're getting away from the blue there, but there's a lot. Usually, there's a lot of blue there. But the gown they put you in is blue because blue helps the body to naturally fight off disease. Somehow, I don't know the science behind this, but blue has a natural ability to retard the progress of disease. So it makes a lot of sense that they would use it. Also helps you forget the passage of time, and Lord knows when you're in the hospital you want to forget the passage of time. There's always noises and people coming in and prodding and poking and. So that's my spiel on blue being a healing color. And I just wanted to share with you, I thought it was so cool that people would use glasses this way, that people would use the light. We've talked about color therapy. It's considered a new age thing. It's considered new science. It's a joke. It's been going on for hundreds of years. It just wasn't called color therapy. People knew if I do this, this happens. So let's talk about green because we've got half the show already on blue. So we've got to talk about green some. So green is another healing color. Green helps you deal particularly with emotional stress. And in my world, I say there's green people and blue people. And you know which one you are because you have a lot of it in your closet. I have a lot of green in my closet. I don't think I have anything blue. Well, that's not true. I have some teal. I have a teal shirt and I have a teal jacket. But there's green in that too. So does that count? Blue people tend to go towards the ocean. They tend to need water. The ocean has a rhythmic feel to it, and it aligns with our body, and it helps to calm us down, helps us to heal. And so there are people who are like, oh my gosh, I love the beach. Oh my gosh, I feel so alive when I go to the beach. Oh my gosh. I have a friend and she's like, she lives in the desert. But she says, I just love the beach. I miss it so much. I have such a connection with water. She lives in the desert. What are you going to do? But she loves going to the beach. Green people tend to go towards mountains, towards trees, towards grass. Not that they don't like water, not that they don't enjoy the ocean. But the inclination is more towards trees. I tell you, there's something, I live in California and going up and seeing the redwoods, there's something so incredible about these trees. They are hundreds of years old. So magnificent. Tall, tall, tall. Some of their trunks you can't put your arms around. They're so wide. It takes 2 or 3 people to go all the way around them. More. There's a famous tourist trap there. And it's a place where the tree's so big, they cut a hole in the middle of it and you can drive through it. Actually, there's several of them up there like that. I think the big one, it's been up there forever. The tree's getting a little old and I think they don't let you drive through it anymore. But there are other places that you can at least walk through them. So they cut an arch in the tree and you can walk through the tree. And this one tree, one car could go through it. And I vaguely remember another one. But anyway, but that's how big these trees are. And they're literally hundreds of years old. Literally hundreds of years old. We've got some lighting issues today again. We don't understand. That's better, I suppose. I don't know. The background looks good. I look terrible. All right. How about that? That's better. Okay. Oh. So green is, but there's something so majestic about these trees, and words just can't even put them into place. I wish I was more poetic, or I could even remember a good poem about a tree. But the beauty going up there is just absolutely incredible. It takes your breath away. When I was in college, I got to go to England, and I was amazed by how much green was there. I'm a California girl. We got lots of brown here. Even the winter when we get more green, or the spring when we get more green, it's fleeting. And it's not the kind of green you see in England or Ireland, Scotland. I mean, they get a lot of rain. They get a lot of rain. And I just was bowled over. I'd never seen green that color before. So beautiful. And it was just so lush because of all the water they get. So you already know if you're a green person or a blue person. Nobody has to tell you. But green helps people deal with change. Green also is a very calming color. And green in particular is good for emotional change. When you're stressed, when you're grieving, go get some green. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. So when I was a year old, my father died. And at a year old, you're not able to process what death means. All I knew it was just gone. That was it. I didn't understand what death meant. I didn't understand how to grieve. I didn't know how to go through those emotions, how to feel those things. I just knew my world got turned upside down. In my mid-20s, I got asthma. Early 20s, I got asthma. And I found a holistic healer who was able to cure it. And what he said was that grief that I got when I was a year old got stuck in my lungs because I didn't know what to do with it. So it got stuck in my body. And I needed to purge it. So what he was able to do was able to release that. And a few days later, I'm driving home, and all of a sudden I start sobbing. Oh my gosh, get me home. I wasn't very far away. I got home, and I knew this sobbing was just gonna get worse. And there's no way. This is a job for Kleenex. I went to the bathroom and I got a towel. And as I reached in to just grab a towel, so the voice in my head said, "You need the green towel." Grab the green towel. Wasn't really in a place to question anything. I said, okay, fine, grab the green towel. I sobbed for 3 hours. And when I got done, I went, ah, that's why I knew the green towel. Because green helps you deal with emotions. Green helps you deal with grief. Green helps you deal with change. So if you're somebody where you go through a lot of changes in life, or you create a lot of change in your life and other people's life, green is a great color. Great color for you. What's going on? Okay. Sorry. Green can help you through that process, just like it did with me in those tears. I needed the support of that green that day. There's nobody around. I was living by myself. There's nobody come and hold me or go through the grief with me. And at that point, the way it was coming out, I wasn't in a place I could even ask, because it was just the floodgates had opened. And there's only one way, and that was through it. I just had to embrace the tears and go through the emotion and let it be. But that green supported me that day in a way that I didn't think was possible. So when I go to my clients and I am creating a lot of change, I'll put on green. When I'm creating a lot of change for me, I put on green. When I'm dealing with a lot of change in the world, I put on green. I wore a lot of green during COVID. Like, help me, help me. Oh my goodness. But that's the power that green has. And you can do it in many ways. You know, maybe green's not a color you feel looks good on you. You can wear green underclothes. You can get a handkerchief, a piece of fabric, tuck it in your bra. It'll work. Wear a green bracelet. There's wonderful, I don't have any on today. Usually I have bracelets on. But you can go to Sprouts. You can go to uh, spiritual bookstores. A lot of places have them. And you get these beads and of natural stones, and they all have healing properties. And you can wear a bracelet with green on it. And that's going to help. You can have you can use color therapy, and you can have a piece of paper, or even I wouldn't say go to your computer because there's blue light in your computer. I mean, it's still green, it will affect you, but if you can have a piece of green paper, or a picture with a lot of green in it, a picture with a lot of green trees in it, all of this is going to assist you in that feeling. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe you don't, like green, but you can look at green and still get the calming effect. And I find a lot of people will have a phase of a color. I used to teach a class in interior design, and on the first day, I'd have them all do 5 minutes of talking about themselves and why they took the class, blah, 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 blah. We talk about color, and they're like, I'm suddenly going through a blue phase. I'm suddenly going through a red phase. I'm suddenly going through a green phase. And I would ask them. So one lady, she's like, I hate green, but now suddenly I can't have, I just crave green and I don't understand why. I said, did something just change in your world? Something big in your world just changed? And she goes, yeah, how did you know? You're craving green. That's why. You know, you're craving blue all of a sudden. Does your world get too crazy? You need to calm down. You need to slow down. Yeah, how did you know? Color tells me so. Craving red all of a sudden. Did you discover a new passion? Did you fall in love? Yeah, how did you know? It's so much fun. I tell you, I really enjoy because people tell me so much with the colors they wear, the colors they're attracted to. And they'll say things like this, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, where's the rest of the story? And I will, sometimes it's apparent to me what it is. I do have do listen with another part of my senses. So sometimes I think I do pick up on stuff, but it's not conscious. I'm not trying to go into their field and see what's going on with them or anything like that. Does that mean I'm seeing something? Maybe, I don't know. It's not something I ever really consciously thought about. But people all the time will go, "Oh, Jeanette, I think you're psychic." I'm not. Well, I am, but I'm not. What I just did wasn't psychic. Uh, they'll tell me, oh, my favorite color is blue, and I'll look at them and I'm like, oh, they're a summer. Okay. So once I've determined they're a summer, I know a lot about how they think, and I can say, okay, so your husband's probably like this. Yeah, how did you know? This is how you deal with decisions. Yeah, how did you know? I said, so this is what we would do in your house, and your house is probably a lot of this. And she's, yeah, how did you know? You haven't been in my house? I know. I know what the different seasons do to create calm in their world. I know what is a priori knowledge for them. They don't always know that that's what it is. But if they listen to their bodies at all, then some of this is a priori knowledge. And they instinctively go towards it. And, opposites attract, right? So I'll ask a few questions. I'll say, so you do this, you do this. Does your husband do this? Does your husband do that? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Then I can tell a whole story. And it's really a lot of fun. It truly is a lot of fun. Oh, so anyway, green. Green is emotional healing, and it's so important. You can do the same thing with green glass. Drink out of the green glass. You're dealing with a lot of depression. Wear as much green as you can. Eat off of green plates. I love green. I have green plates. I love them. Let that green nourish your body in any way it can. Drink out of green glasses. I think I'm going to go buy some new glasses today, actually. Like, I just have clear glasses. Why am I drinking out of clear glasses? It doesn't make any sense. I'm going to go buy some new glasses today because I want to be drinking. I'm going to use that color. You don't want to drink out of plastic glasses. They should be glass. Actually, I have some beautiful yellow glasses. They're gold glasses. I'm going to pull those out and start drinking from those. Yeah. Why shouldn't we have a rainbow of colors of glassware, of our plates? You go look at the registry. I mean, when I got married, there were so many different colors of china and different things, and now you go and it's just like it's white. Maybe there's, oh gosh, a silver rim around it, around the edge for decoration. Let's not be too adventurous. Let's not have too much color. And why not take advantage of the healing power that color can give? Why not take advantage of the color to help you to eat less? why not take advantage of what these colors can do for our bodies, for our minds, for our souls? So I want you to go look in your cabinets. What are your plates? What are your glasses? Let's bring some healing color in there. Let's create more for you. I don't know about you, but I don't want to take a bunch of pills just for the sake of taking a bunch of. Why take a pill when all I gotta do is change my glassware? Imagine that if your glassware could help you to heal. If you're a blue person, get some blue glasses. If you're a green person, get some green glasses. You're going through change, and they don't all have to be the same. You know, often, for your dinner glasses, okay, you can have however many people you set table for, but you drink a lot during the day. You could have glasses that are multiple colors. How cool is that? Drink the rainbow. Let's take advantage of these vibrations. Look at your clothes. Now, there's some people who need to wear a lot of white. There's some people who need to wear a lot of gray. There's some people who need to wear a lot of beige. I want you to really look at your clothes. What does the energy in your clothing say? Does it mesh with yours? Do you feel good in it? Because if you don't, throw it away. We don't need stuff that doesn't make us feel good. You have to look in the mirror and go, oh, does this make me look fat? Throw it away. If you have to ask, it probably does. Because you know when you feel good. You know when you've lost that 5 pounds. You know when you put on that shirt that just, or those jeans that just hug you all the right way. You know when you look good. So if it's not making you feel good, don't do it. Mark. And
How's
look,
it
Mark's
going?
got purple behind him.
Well, I'm at work, so I got orange and purple, and I got art. I got all kinds. I got plants.
Yay.
So that might have been the purple you saw with the plant.
No, the wall behind you is purple, isn't it?
Say what?
The wall behind you is purple, isn't it?
I'm at Hayti.
The wall behind you is purple. Is
You
it
said
not?
what again?
The wall behind you, is it not purple?
I think it's more bluish. Yeah, I'm horrible with colors.
Yeah.
Sharon,
So,
hold on. I'm gonna ask my artist friend. Sharon, do you consider that blue or purple?
That's purple. That's lavender.
Lavender. You were right. It's
I
lavender.
like Karen. Hey, Karen.
Sharon's my friend that I do a podcast about color about. So that's Sharon. She's an artist, by the way.
Oh boy. Tells everybody.
She's an artist, by the way.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, see, it's why, and this is, see, a lot of guys have red blue color blindness or red green color blindness. So you're not seeing the red and the purple. You're only
Yes,
seeing the,
because I did not see lavender, so I thought it was. So
and
it was
it's
a,
totally lavender. It's totally lavender.
yep.
And so, but this is also why we women don't let you pick out colors most of the time.
That's why
And
women are
it's
better
also
at picking
why
out
a
colors.
lot of men will say, if you're happy, I'm happy, because they don't see the colors the way we do. And so it still needs to look good. It still needs to look good to your eye though.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of guys don't see color the way that women see color.
Gotcha.
But
I
yeah,
learned something new.
that's not blue.
No, now I got it. It's lavender. Sharon, did you have corrected me?
Years ago, there
Yes.
was
Sharon, did you have corrected me?
Oh, okay. Now you
a.
know what lavender looks like.
Now I know what lavender looks like.
It's light purple.
It's light purple.
Awesome, awesome.
As a matter of
So
fact, Sharon, come over here. Sharon, so we'll have you talk to Sharon for a minute because y'all are in the same color business. She is an artist and everything, so I'll let you talk to Sharon.
Hello.
That's Jeanette Chaz, where she does the color with her.
Oh, okay. Well,
She's
it's nice to meet
she's
you.
an interior designer.
very nice to
Oh,
meet you.
oh, I love that.
So I actually
Nice to meet you.
I
There's
don't
a whole lot of guys in here. There's too much testosterone going on. I can't hear. It's just too much. 3 of them. Oh my God. Oh, excuse me. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What is the color for? I don't want to say colors, but what is the color for this year? What is the color, the punch color this year?
You know what? So I used to follow that pretty religiously, but then all the
Mhm.
paint companies started coming out with their own colors. So Dunn Edwards
Oh,
has a
good.
Benjamin Moore has a color, Sherwin-Williams has a color, Behr has a color, and they all came out with, and they're all different colors. And
Good.
so and they're different than what PMS. So what happens is the color marketing group, they're the one, and they're the ones that set the colors, and
Yes.
they have a palette, and
Okay.
we'll pick a color for the year,
Yeah.
and then but then all the other paint companies, they went around and they'll pick something from the palette, but
Hmm.
not necessarily the same as PMS. So I don't honestly know what the color of the year is because it just got really confusing, and it didn't really seem to matter anymore.
Yes.
You remember? I do remember seeing the color of the year, and I remember seeing it was an optimistic color. That's
Okay.
what I remember. I think it's like a blue or green. Green's been pretty popular. And
Uh-huh.
we've just been talking today. You can ask him for the replay, but we've just been talking about the healing powers of blue and green. And
Yes.
um, green has gotten very popular, and it's interesting because green's gotten popular in kitchens. Green is generally not a color you want in your kitchen, but
Yes.
because it can actually make your food taste bad. But if you're dieting, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big if. Okay. All right. I was curious because I see a lot of cars now in different shades of green,
Green has
and
come.
I've noticed that more on the road.
So here's what happened. Oh, where did you go? I lost you. Uh,
I'm sorry, Mark. I took over your conversation. I'm sorry.
so what happened color wise is when
Yeah.
2008 hit.
Yeah.
When 2008 hit, we all went to gray because we wanted to feel safe. If you heard it once, you heard it 1,000 times. That in 2008, we felt like the ground got
Yes.
pulled out underneath of us, right? Every
Uh-huh.
single I had that wanted gray said to me, it makes me feel so safe. Well, if you look at the Earth's
Okay.
core and what's
Hmm.
underneath the Earth, it's rock, it's granite, it's that gray. And so
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
COVID happened, and we were starting
Hmm.
to get away from the gray, and then COVID happened and it threw us right back into it. I was so pissed. But
Oh.
what it did do was white came about huge during COVID. Why? Because every time we turned around, we were told, you're dirty, wash your hands, there's germs everywhere,
Right.
right? So
Right.
white made us feel clean. And
Yeah.
so white came in with a surge. And
Hmm.
kind of post COVID, we all went through some kind of change during COVID, good, bad,
Yes.
indifferent. We all went through some
Right.
change. We all had to
Right.
face our demons. We all did.
Yes.
All lost
Yeah.
friends. We all had people that died. We all had people
That's
that weren't
right.
with us anymore because of our
Hmm.
beliefs, because of what we did during COVID, whatever.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
we did or didn't do during COVID. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
became huge. I mean, it was almost like the
Hmm.
North and South. I mean, it was like families got split apart, right? Over
Yes.
these protocols. And
Yeah.
so green helps us deal with emotional change. It helps us to heal emotions. And
Yes.
as COVID ended, we needed that. We've needed to heal emotions. We've needed to go back to our friends and say,
Nature.
you know what, I was a little bit crazy. I'm sorry. We've
Yeah,
needed to go back into nature. Agreed. We need to get back in touch with Mother Earth. She's so
that's
beautiful,
right.
so
That's
amazing.
right.
And
That's right.
we needed to connect, but we needed that emotional. Green helps us deal with emotional change, and we've
Mm-hmm.
needed that to heal from what happened during COVID. Green is really
Mm-hmm.
good when people deal with depression, and
Mm-hmm.
the level of depression went skyrocketing during COVID.
Yes.
You had a
Yes.
lot of people that lived by themselves, and now they
And
can't.
some people are still going through that. I
Oh, they
mean, the
are,
drug commercials on TV are more about antidepressants,
right?
you
Right.
but I mean, but that makes a lot of sense. Going back to green because it represents nature, just the color of being outside freely again,
Right.
without fear. Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. I was just curious. The reason I'm asking you, I was curious as to what colors to incorporate in my paintings now. And I'm like, because people will say, oh, I love this, but do you have it in green? As if you're going to change your whole painting, just to satisfy them. And so that's why I was curious. But thank you. You answered my question. I
What I
really
will,
appreciate that. Thank you.
here's what I will
Yeah.
answer to you is you paint what's in your heart. Your
Yeah.
color system, we all have a different color system. Your color system is bold colors. You get to
Hmm.
do bold, bright colors. And
That's
you
right.
need those bold, bright colors in your world. You are a very
Hmm.
exuberant
Yeah.
person, very bubbly person, and that is what you paint, and that's who's going to be attracted to it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. But I just wanna kind of, I kind of want to be, I want to have my finger on the pulse
Well, let
of
me look
of
it up real quick.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay,
But here's
two
here's your
articles
mark.
here. Well,
Wait, wait.
Sherwin
I,
Williams is it's
I don't want to cut her off on
uh,
this.
I don't like their colors of the year. They're all very
You
drab.
come, you come in tomorrow.
I didn't
Mhm,
like
mhm.
these colors.
Yep.
Oh no,
Just
here
got
we
off
go.
doing the
Yeah, they have a bunch of
dishes.
colors. Bosque, pear, mauve, finery, rain cloud. These are all way too boring colors for you.
Yeah,
Malabar. These colors
I'll
are
make it
boring.
more vibrant, but it's a
Yeah,
starter.
you need to have vibrant colors, and that's what
Yeah,
I. You're gonna do painting, which you love best, and that's with color.
that's
So
exactly right. That is true.
that's
It does turn out to be different than I start. It becomes something else as I get started. But thank you so much. Thank you. See, you
Yeah.
learn something every day
Yep. You learn something every day.
if you open your mind to it.
Yeah.
I think we're done. I think if
Okay.
you have
Cool. Well, we'll get ready.
about color, please call me. You can reach me at thecolorwhisperer.com. And now it's time to get some good food in our bellies.
Cool. So we'll get ready to end with that and everything like that. So let me get to that commercial and all along those lines. So hold on one second while we try to see what's going on with this lovely computer. It's having a mind of its own. But hold on one second, Jeanette. And then
Yeah,
I got to remove that first. And then we'll just keep talking. So I want to remove that first before we can get to the other right one, which is our fine folks at Can Do Spices and everything like that. So definitely a great show. Yeah, great information that you always give. You always do
you
an
know what?
amazing job,
Show
Jeanette. So,
her, show her the give that lady the podcast because I was talking all about green and blue, and I think she'll find it really helpful.
oh, I'll definitely do that. Definitely pass that information on to Sharon. But here's Kendu Spices as we get ready to wrap up. But I'll definitely let Sharon know, and I'll also send you some copies of some of her artwork so you can see what she's all about. And maybe we'll have her back on another show as well. But I'll let you check out some of her artwork with both her and her son, Artie Barksdale, are all artists. So she comes from a family of artists.
Nice.
Cool. But then here's Kendu Spices.
You know how people love to enjoy food and don't understand how.
I'm not here. You know Lydia, right? Yeah, I know Lydia. Okay, cool.
You know how people love to enjoy food and don't understand how to flavor their food or how to replicate a meal? They're interested in supplements but don't know where to begin? Well, what I do is I take the guesswork out of enjoying flavor and wellness with my flavorful spice blends so that they can create delicious meals with healing benefits. Can Do Spice was created to help cooks at any level enjoy healing through food. Every spice blend was designed to give added health benefits of natural herbs. Every blend is complete. There's no need to add any additional spice for a delicious meal. Saving you time and money while adding supplements to your meals can be both tasty and fun. My earliest memories in the kitchen began with my father, Kenny Can Do Bond, so it was fitting that I would name this line after him. I have always looked to natural remedies to supplement the body, and I found myself hiding herbs and minerals in foods for my family. That's when it hit me. Everyone needs Can Do Spice. Everyone should be having this. It's an exclusive brand for cooks at any level who want to create flavorful dishes with healing benefits that can satisfy the body and soul. Add a little spice to your life. Give Can Do Spice a try.